Okay, so I'm sitting here at work, and as I wait for my lunchtime to approach, I'm seeing so many videos about Ayesha Curry, and I had several of my girlfriends want to talk about Ayesha Curry, and not that we're obsessed or totally into what the quote-unquote stars or famous people are doing, but that seemed to be a hot topic. So I really could care less. I didn't even really hear what she said. I'm not, necessarily a fan of Jada's red table talk. I guess she trying to be Iyanla, but maybe Jada has finally found a lane outside of Will that works for her, because her red table talk seems to be getting more popular as it's been on, and she's had these juicy, salacious stories that have just been pushed to the media or whatever the case. And I don't know why anybody is on Jada's show listening to her give advice. I just can't figure that out for the life of me. So I wasn't really into the Ayesha Curry thing. I mean, I'm not heavily into basketball, so I'm not that much into Steph Curry, and I'm not into her. They are not two that just capture my attention, and which is probably the basis of this conversation and why she feels the way she does. I mean, no matter how good Steph Curry is, or how fantastic of a chef, or whatever it is, or a mom, or whatever it is that Ayesha has going on, and no matter how much money they have, they're just like the chill, plain couple where it's like, even though both of them are what possess what you think typical beauty to be, the light skin, the pretty eyes, the good hair, the quote-unquote good hair, even though they are both all of those things, they just don't ruffle any feathers. There's nothing about Ayesha or Steph that ruffles anybody's feathers. It doesn't get you hot, it doesn't turn you on, it doesn't make you overly interested, and that's not for everybody. There may be some people who take interest in them, beyond the surface, but there's nothing exciting, about that couple from the outside looking in, and that's not a slight to them, that's not a diss. It's probably a good thing. I mean, I know they're into their religion, and they've known each other since they were teenagers and things like that, and they've been together for a long time. I think they've been married, I think they're about 38 years old, at least she is. I believe they're about the same age, and they've been married since 2011, so that's been the last 8 years of her life. She has kids, and they've known each other for teenagers, so she's been in a long-term relationship during her 20s and her younger years. So I'm just going to talk about it really quick, just to give you guys some content, to put something out there for that ass, so we can discuss this a little bit. You guys put your opinions below on what you think it is, because my girlfriends kept reaching out to me like, have you heard the Ayesha Curry thing? What do you think? And I'm just like, well, my thoughts are, my one girlfriend said, she has low self-esteem. She don't understand why she was on there singing it. She needs to get her self-esteem up. And one of my girlfriends was just like, I just don't understand where she's coming from, because I don't have those self-esteem issues. I don't see why she has those self-esteem issues. She got this man making all this money. She needs to get it together. She needs to get her self-esteem together. So that was one of my girlfriend's point of views. And then my other girlfriend was like, Savannah would never. I was cracking up laughing, but she was like, Savannah would never, I feel where she's coming from. She just shouldn't have said it. And basically that girlfriend was going with the train of thought that she just still want to know if she got it. You know what I mean? She still want to know if she got it, but that's just not something you say to embarrass your man on a show like that, or whatever the case, no matter how real it is that you think you're being. And also, I kind of agree with this girlfriend of mine who said that when we were thinking Ayesha just wants to let her freak flag fly a little bit, because she missed her hoe days. So she has been in a relationship all of her 20s, so she really hasn't gotten to know herself independently, as far as who she is and what she's passionate about, and her identity, setting it apart from Steph Curry's, which is going to be extremely hard, because he's like the top basketball player, and they're rich, they got all this money, so of course everybody knows his identity, who he is, what he does. But setting hers apart from his, she really didn't have the time to do that, because if you think about it, if she got married when she was like 21, that means they probably were dating or together a couple of years before that. And I, as a person, can totally understand that, because I'm somebody who was in a relationship in a young relationship for most of my life, ever since I was 18. And that relationship lasted double-digit years, well over 10. So I can understand, as a woman, missing those days in your 20s where you really don't know who you are. Like, 20 is still a baby. 20 is like being a teenager. Like, you have to discover yourself. And some people are blessed to know who they are, what they want, have all that confidence and stuff. They may just have some strong elements in their chart where they're born like that. And also, let me pull the zodiac signs in. Ayesha is an Aries. Steph is a Pisces. He's actually not far behind Ayesha. I think Ayesha is March the 23rd. So she's not kind of far from the cusp of Pisces. And then and I'm familiar with those in that area because my dad was the 21st of March, and then Steph Curry, I believe, is the 17th. So he's I wouldn't call him a cusper, but he's not far. He's towards the end of Pisces, and she's towards the beginning of Aries. Well, she is at the beginning of Aries because it starts on my dad's birthday, the 21st. So she's right there she is a cusper, not super close cusper, but I would still consider Ayesha a cusper. So when you pull the zodiac signs into it, I don't think she's a person who really got to discover who she was a lot. Probably as a woman, not who you were as a teenager, who you were as a child, but who you are as a woman once you got like to the 20s, where you could really start doing a lot of things completely and totally independently. If you go right into a relationship, you miss that time to nurture and cultivate yourself as a woman. And a lot of women focus on their man, or when they get in a relationship, their whole relationship becomes the focus. So you don't get the time to focus on you, explore your talents and everything like that. And I feel like that's part of what she's going through. So it's not necessarily about her just having a whole phase or wanting to be a freak or just wanting to know she still got it. I don't know her personally, so I can't say whether she's into cheating on Steph or not. But I don't really feel it was about that. I feel like it was more about knowing she got it. It's nothing wrong with wanting to be sexy and wanting to be hollered at by other men. Sometimes you do want people outside of your spouse to validate you. We both want that as men and women. I don't know why men's mind or women's mind are so close-minded to think that just because you get in a relationship, there is no more you. You're no longer a person. You're all one with your spouse, and nobody's outside opinion matters. That's just stupid and crazy. You come in this world alone, you're gonna die alone. I don't give a fuck if you're married to somebody or you've been in a relationship for a long time. You are still you. All you have at the end of the day is yourself. If that person leaves, that person dies, the only person that's gonna be left is you. You know what I mean? You go into the grave, you go into your maker alone. So you never want to lose yourself, no matter what kind of marriage or partnership you're in. And I could speak from personal experience from totally losing myself for a long time because of being in a partnership from such a young age where I never got to be on my own. It was like from my parents to with that person. So from one daddy to another. So, and then on top of that, if you want to talk about this, so I agree with my girlfriend when she says, okay, she just wants to maybe, kind of be a little hoish, kind of be a little freakish, kind of gets back some of that excitement she maybe hasn't had because she's been in a relationship for a long time. But she just shouldn't have said that on a Red Table Talk, which I agree. So, and then my contribution was the part about her wanting to kind of be free, maybe wanting to experience some things she hasn't experienced before because she's been in this relationship and she's been a mother. So that's her whole life. Steph Curry, mother. Steph Curry, mother. But who is Ayesha? Yeah, she's got a cooking show. Yeah, she can cook. And she does some other things, but who are you really? You know what I mean? And have you even discovered that yourself? You know, so like I can cook too. I cook very well, but that's not just who I am, and that's not me discovering myself necessarily and finding myself and understanding who I am as a woman. That's just something I'm passionate about and I like to do. And then if you want to pull the zodiac signs into it, Ayesha is an Aries, so you know. It's funny because my girlfriend who said, like, I just don't understand her lack of self-confidence. I just don't understand. My girlfriend who said that, she was like, you know, and she gets on my nerves. Like, she don't dislike Ayesha or Steph, but she was like, Ayesha gets on my nerves. She always got something to say. She always inserting herself. She the only wife to be out there talking about the games like she do and all of this kind of stuff. So, and I think in the past I've heard that Ayesha was kind of into sports and stuff like when she was younger. So I believe she is a girl who's really into the game. But at the same time, she's an Aries. So there's an element of her wanting to wear the pants. And then Steph Curry is a Pisces, so she's definitely wearing the pants probably at home in that relationship. He's probably very passive in his own worlds, which is probably the basketball world. So the Aries wants to wear the pants, and it's funny that what she said makes a lot of sense coming from an Aries woman as well, because Aries, Sagittarius, Leos, they're usually pretty confident. Aries are definitely confident in their sexuality. It's like and Aries women can be very sexual and very sexy, and it's like, but at the same time, Aries is the tomboy female of the zodiac. She is the female that will get down and dirty with you. She's the one that's rocking heels and she's rocking tennis. She can do a little bit of both, but a key part of that fire element for all fire signs and for Aries is that sexiness, is that connection to that sacral chakra, is that connection to the sex and eroticism, and the fast passions igniting, because fire is the passion, fire is the ignition, fire is the spark. So you may notice in all three of those zodiac signs and the fire signs, there is a passionate spark that is usually there. And so Ayesha Curry, I said I feel like a part of the element is she just want to wear the pants. It is a little bit of a competition with Steph because she's an Aries, and that's just how they are. Like, it's so funny. There's a zodiac video, and when I post this, I'm going to try to put it in front of the video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And the girl who's doing the zodiac video, she's saying, yeah, if you want this type of girl, date a Taurus. If you want this type of girl, date a Cancer. If you want this type of girl, date a Sag. So when she was talking about Aries, she said, if you want a girl that's gonna disrespect you all day and act like a nigga, get you an Aries. And it's really funny because that's Aries. So I have no doubt that Ayesha wears the pants in that relationship at home, and that she's very and which is what my girlfriend meant by she always got something to say. She always commenting on the games of this, that, and the other, because that's what Aries do, even Aries women. So the Aries man and the Aries woman are similar to me. A lot of zodiac signs you'll say, oh, they're so different from how the men are and the women, but the Aries man and woman are pretty similar to me. So the Aries woman, I just feel like Ayesha is competition, and he's a little bit of competition, and she wants to wear the pants. He's getting all this attention, and she wants some of that, but that is a human emotion. There is nothing wrong with her feeling that way, because as a human, that's just how we feel. And you don't just have to be an Aries to feel that way. I'm willing to bet anybody who had a partner that's that famous, and especially if you're competitive, like Aries are competitors. They are always the ones that's like, I'm number one. They have no fear of competition. Even if they lose, they're gonna compete. So she has that competitive nature ingrained within her, period, no matter what it comes to. So I can see how Steph getting all the attention and being the big breadwinner in the home makes her feel a little bit competitive and makes her feel like she wants that attention. It's no surprise to me that as an Aries, she wants to feel her passionate spark. She wants to feel sexy and all of that. But what people don't understand is, like, Steph and Ayesha look right for each other. They look like they belong together. Like, it was funny. As much as we love Idris Elba, I've loved Idris since sometimes in April. I think that's the first movie I ever saw Idris in, and this is before he was the Idris Elba. And I noticed he was fine. And I think when that movie came out, I was younger, so I wasn't super young. I was still an adult, probably in my 20s or early 30s. And his type of man, like that man, probably wasn't really my type at that time. It was probably more like a street smart guy that was kind of my type. But I could recognize that this man was fine. You know what I mean? Because at the time, he'd probably be like a father figure to me or something. But no, he looked just young enough, and he was fine. This is before he became Idris, Stringer Bell, The Wire, and everybody started to see how fine he was. So that's when I first saw Idris and thought he was fine. So I love me some Idris. But I had sent my girlfriend a picture of him and his fiance. I think his wife, when they went to the Met Gala, and she had on the pink, I think she was doing like the Marilyn Monroe look. She had on a pink dress and a pink hair, looked really cute. And I was like, her, and you can go to their page to see it, Sabrina DeHauer, and it's on his page. And I said, Idris and Sabrina, like his wife, look made for each other. Like, you know how when you just find your equal, not somebody that looks better than you or you think is on your level or you look better than them, like just somebody who really truly looks like they're your equal. I feel like that's how Aries and Sabrina look, and I feel like that's how Steph Curry and Ayesha look. They are made for each other, and they may be what some people want to call corny, but corny is not a bad thing as long as you know you're corny. Like, they're into religion. So Ayesha, and some women don't give off strong sex appeal. I haven't looked at her chart to kind of see why and what placements that she has. I'm willing to bet it has something to do with the Pisces, because although Pisces can be really attractive, it can be a sign that, depending on where it's at in your chart and where you have Neptune, it could be a little invisible. It could be like a cloud of confusion. Like, it could be invisible because Neptune represents the clouds and the gases, and like you can come off somewhat as invisible depending on where that Pisces and that Neptune is placed in your chart. And her being right there on Aries, I'm sure she has some things sitting in Pisces, because certain planets don't travel too far from the sun. So if you're Aries, it's a good chance you have a lot of things sitting there in Pisces or Aquarius or something like that. So I'm going to look at her chart, but she doesn't, I feel like no matter what she wears, she just doesn't have a sexy vibe. And it's because of her chart makeup. She has a cool, pretty, beautiful, whatever you want to call her, girl. But just because people are pretty or beautiful does not make them sexy. Those are two different things, and there's just something about her where she does not come off as sexy. Now, that does not mean she's not going to have guys hollering at her and things like that, which right now she's not going to really experience that a whole hell of a lot, because everybody knows who you are and nobody's really on your level. The men that you meet, a lot of men that she meets, they're not going to be on her level, and they know they're married. Men ain't as quite outwardly disrespectful as women, so it's not going to be a lot of men coming on to her. And also, I find the really good looking men, a lot of times they're intimidated to talk to nice looking women. It's the ugly, rough ones that will talk to you because they ain't got nothing to lose. So you might think, dang, I ain't got it no more because nobody's trying to talk to me or nobody I'm interested in. But a lot of times, guys with something going on, they're not just going to holler at you on the street. It has to be a certain scenario. So guys, this is a 20-minute video, something really quick to give you my thoughts on the whole Ayesha Curry situation. I think she should just keep being her, work on developing who she is more and getting a stronger sense of herself that puts her out in the world, become more active outside of the circles that she's used to. And maybe I do agree that she could use a stylist to just give her some flavor, to give her some oomph, because she does have a very plain, just chill, tomboy, cool woman, cool mother vibe, and maybe it's a little bit more edge that she's trying to get off, and I think a stylist will help her with that. But essentially, I don't think it's anything wrong with what she said. I just don't think she should have said it on the Red Table Talk. The way, because it's so open for interpretation, and the way it came off, it's like a slight to her husband's pride. But I think anybody who thinks, and real women, we can definitely understand where she's coming from as women. So thanks you guys for listening to Frequency Real Radio. Go check out the website, earthskystar.com. Purchase some things, check back often to see new things we have uploaded on the site, and check back for my astrology and my tarot videos. I'll have something coming up for you guys really soon. Much love, Madam X, and I'm out.